You came up yesterday.
Yesterday evening came.
All right, so here we are.
The machine.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Brilliant. I'm very impressed by all the boards there as well. Right. So this has been here for 2 months now.
3 months now. And then it's been used.
Right.
And then just time things. It's a bit quickly move as in this book. At the same time, production.
Indeed. So has it helped with both streamlining passengers, but also congestion rate and perspective, you can bring things in.
Exactly.
Yes. Right.
So, we're expecting much higher pressure. But for the time being, because of the pipes, the
I see. Yes. Well, I know these are just so important for everything that we do back in Australia, that we use these machines and see them at all the ports and airports, and then there's now a fundamental part of what we do. So trying to run a facility like this, I think, it's pretty good to have them great. Yes. And I know how important the ferry connection here is as well. So if this is a way that helps to make that safer and faster and more streamlined, it's really positive.
there's a huge potential of women passengers coming in. And also, the government has a plan to expand the travel area as port.
Okay.
Right. And again, the control.
Right.
India. Yes. So that comes to be
and official handing over to scanners donated by those living border posts Sri Lanka Customs to be deployed at the Pankasam Brazil Port and the Palari Airport. To commence the proceedings, it's my pleasure to invite Mrs. Sugandhya Besekara, Director of Customs Provincial Directorate, to
Australian Border Force, Director General of Customs, Mr. Siva Yarukoda, Additional Director Generals, Mr. Dakula Arepatta and Mr. T. Roganathan, former Director General of Sri Lanka Customs, Mr. Sarat Nonis, and all of my colleagues. As you know, this event was initially scheduled in last August 2025. However, due to unavoidable circumstances, we had to postpone it without a date. So, today, we are fortunate to hold this ceremony as the very significant event as the Sri Lanka Customs in the year 2026. I express my heartfelt gratitude for all present here in Jaffna despite of the bad weather we are experiencing. So once again, I warmly welcome you.
Come to about what do you reckon? Is that right?
I've seen these in operation in Australia, and I know that you get very high level training to be able to identify what different colours mean. So you're obviously much better.
They train rope officers to become trainers. Yes. One of them were also working like us.
And that's really important to get a hand on the skills, right? Yeah. So no, I have a lot of respect for it. So I know how important skill is, but also I know that it takes a lot to to actually understand it, looking at a lot of experience. So, yeah, that's great. I'm really glad you're able to have that training. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. Indeed. Yes, that's right. No, looking forward to that. It's been a first conversation there. Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcoming me to what I did not know previously was the northernmost point of customs service here in Sri Lanka. So that's another one I can mark down on my map of significant places to visit. But thank you very much for your kind words. Can I also acknowledge and thank former Director General Nonis. Thank you so much for your kind words, in particular for your kind reflections about your time and experience working with Australia. I can only reassure you that they are very much shared from our side as well. So it's a real privilege and honour to work with you, with Director General Aragoda, and also with Sri Lanka Customs more broadly. We really value this relationship. We're so grateful to you for being such excellent hosts of us here in Sri Lanka and partners with us more broadly. Everyone who's here today, thank you as well for coming out to celebrate what is, well, for me, a really important milestone for us here with the handing over and the inaugurating of these the X-ray machine here at Magnetic Drive Ferry Terminal, as well as its sister machine, which is just down the road at the airport nearby. This is a really important event for the relationship between the Australian Border Force and Sri Lankan Customs, which I think we've all heard so much about already this morning. And it really, I think it's a very important event that we note as a milestone in this relationship. Now, today's special for me for a number of reasons. Apart from just being here, this actually marks my first ever visit to Jaffna. More important than that, this event here is my very first event as part of my first official visit to Sri Lanka's northernmost province here in Jaffna. So it really is a very important marker for me as part of my term here, and I'll certainly see it as a highlight. People who aren't in this room may well ask the question of why we think it's so important to come and celebrate an X-ray machine. Why is it that a High Commissioner would come all the way here and want to mark this event? Well, I think I'd say a couple of things to that. The first thing I'd say is, that as Director General Aragoda already knows, I'm in fact a former customs officer myself. I worked for Australian Customs, for the Australian Border Force, and very closely with former Commissioner Michael Outram. And in my time there, of course, I saw the incredible power and importance of the work of our customs agents at the borders all over Australia. Just how significant this is and remains for our security, for our welfare, for our prosperity. And so I know very well the value of this machine and of all the work of our customs officers who do such a critical job here. And I think also the other point I'd make is just to really reiterate that events like this are so important for reaffirming the value of the partnership that the Australian Border Force has with Sri Lanka Customs. I really want to emphasise that this is a relationship that Australia values. We are grateful to you for all of the excellent work that you do, and we celebrate your successes because your successes are our successes too. We are very pleased to be here with you. So, looking specifically at this machine that we're here in front of and talking about today, why is this machine itself so important? Apart from all those more symbolic points that I've just made. Well, I guess, again, for me, thinking about this, it's so important because it's about detecting serious risks to our communities, to our economies, to our people. It's about detecting risks and preventing people from who seek to cross the border with dangerous things that might harm our communities. So what are we talking about when we talk about things? Well, we might be talking about anything from weapons to contraband to narcotics. It might include people who are looking to support people smuggling trade. It might be goods that are posing biosecurity hazards. Just to make a point on this, I can point you to a recent Australian government report that showed that there were 359,000 travellers. That's more than a third of a million, right? 359,000 travellers intercepted on biosecurity grounds by X-ray machines to detect dogs in Australia's airports. And in making those interceptions, we have detected and seized more than 40,000 high-risk items, those items that would have posed some sort of danger to the Australian community. Now, I think it's also fair to say that in many such cases where we're detecting those goods, we're also detecting goods that are seeking to evade our rules, they're seeking to evade our customs duties, they're seeking to evade our taxes. And all of this ultimately undermines the safety, the welfare, the prosperity of our countries. So that's why this is important. Now, I know, Director General, last week, President Dissanayake hailed Sri Lankan Customs for your critical contribution to stabilising Sri Lanka's economy by recording the highest ever customs revenue in your history. Again, congratulations for this. I know how much of this has been brought about by your hard work and many of your officers' hard work, as well as acknowledging the work that's gone previously in establishing the strategic plan that made that possible. I'd like to ask the question, how important have X-ray machines been to some of that collection over the course of the last year all over Sri Lanka? Again, I think it just speaks to the importance of what we're celebrating here today. Colleagues, the relationship between Sri Lankan Customs and the ADF is important for both of our countries as we're working together to achieve the same things. We want to streamline trade, we want to increase revenue collection, we want to build border integrity measures to disrupt cross-border crime. Now, there is one point that I want to take issue with, Director General Aragota, from your speech, where you noted the partnership between the ADF and Sri Lankan Customs, and you said that at this stage only Sri Lanka has been benefiting from this. I'm sorry, but I can't agree. I cannot agree with that. Because when I think about customs, I think that we're on the same team. And we are trying to combat, we're trying to detect, we're trying to prevent the same sorts of activities. And the activities that are harming Sri Lanka, that are looking to cross Sri Lanka's borders illegally, causing harm to your community or elsewhere, they're exactly the same threats that we face. And if people are able to move things across Sri Lankan borders, they're equally able to come and challenge Australia's borders as well. So from my perspective, it's really important that we are working together and we are continuing the tradition of cooperation that we have, because it is in both of our countries' interests. Now, I think the path of these X-ray machines from Australia to Sri Lanka is a good example of how that relationship can work for both of our benefit. I know former Director General Nonnis mentioned briefly some of the background to this, but if I can just go over it a little bit more. This really originated in mid-2023 when he was then Director General of Sri Lankan Customs. Mr. Nonnis spoke to our Commissioner, our then Commissioner of the ADF, Michael Outram, seeking support for establishing a customs office here at Customs Terminal. And this was because of the re-establishment of the ferry service between Jaffna and northern Sri Lanka, I should say, and India, which is of course expected to carry large volumes of goods and passengers. Now that's a really good thing for this region. Having that service, we know, is so critical to providing opportunity for people to travel, to trade, to be able to sell their goods, to earn an income. That ultimately is good for the stability of this region. It's good for the long-term welfare of the people who live here. But none of that can work if we don't have a border that enables it to work, and a border that guarantees the security of the community around it. And that's why, as all the good customs officers in this room today know, the importance of having an effective customs line to enable the sort of service that this new strategic ferry service is offering. It's just so important. So that was the genesis of the request for some support here. And when our two agency heads had met again at a World Customs Organisation event in Brussels, we agreed on a support package would include having these X-ray machines here at the ferry terminal and at the airport just down the road. Now, that was the start of it. I mentioned that was in 2023. It has been a bit of a time to get it here and to have it working, and I think that's been due to so many factors. I mean, there's a budget angle to this. You need to have a shipping schedule to get the equipment here. You then need to fit these incredible machines into a container We need to transport them down the long and winding road from Colombo to Jackson. We need to find a forklift and machinery to get them in place. There is so much that goes into enabling this to happen. But I'm just so pleased as we sit here now in January 2026 that we can see it in operation and we are able to see already the incredible impact that it is having for the service that we provide here and therefore the service that Sri Lanka Customs is able to offer to the community here. So that in itself, I think, is worth the effort that's taken to get it to this point. I do want to recognise as well the perseverance and commitment in enabling this all to happen. I think, obviously, due to the passage of time, both Commissioner Outram and Director General Nonis have now retired. So I think I'd like to recognise the work that both those officers contributed to this, as well as to my predecessor as High Commissioner Paul Stevens, who also has concluded his posting and returned to Australia. But all three played a very important role in seeing this equipment could get here and we'd be able to have this event celebrating this today. Now we're also here, I think, because of the training that the ABF has delivered in 2025 on how to operate this machinery, looking at training the trainer as well for your officers to be able to pass that skill on. So again, this is a sign of the ongoing partnership that we have and that we intend to continue. I can give you my commitment to that, Director General, that Australia is absolutely committed to continuing this partnership with Sri Lanka over the long haul. So colleagues, as High Commissioner here, I'd just like to again use this moment to reaffirm Australia's commitment to our long-standing partnership with Sri Lanka on border security and to confirming the ABF's equal commitment to advancing our relationship with Sri Lankan Customs through our operational cooperation, our training, and our provision of advice and equipment. This is a partnership that we both value so much. So I commend to you today these two X-ray machines. I wish you all the best in putting them to their very important use. Thank you very much, everyone.